Want to see some of Sonoma and Napa's best designed wineries? Let's do it. In this video, we're going to take you on a trip around Napa and Sonoma and show you some of the region's great winery architecture and some pretty awesome scenery too. But first, a disclaimer. Our expertise is in design hotels, not wineries. So this does not pretend to be an exhaustive list, but is based on a fair amount of research and a bias towards modern, minimalist design. In addition to the 7 wineries we're about to show you, there were 3 other wineries on our list to visit, but one was temporarily closed, and 2 of them we just couldn't make the scheduling work. Before we dive in, all of the wineries on this list require reservations, so you should see our what to do and when to come video for some tips on how that all works. Okay, on with the show. We've organized this assuming that you don't have a helicopter, and we're going to have to drive or be driven between these wineries. So it's kind of organized south to north, start at either end. This map's available on our website. Ashes and Diamonds is our most southerly winery on our list and is about 90 minutes north of San Francisco. This is a fun winery. I love the bright colors they use, and I love the playful architecture. The interior design's pretty good too. You can grab lunch here, inside or out. It was hopping on a Saturday. This was one of the only wineries where we didn't have a reservation, so we kind of had to charm our way in. So we didn't get to eat. So I can't tell you if the food's any good, but I bet you it is. Just north of Rutherford, you'll find the Prisoner Wine Company. We've included this one not because of the great architecture, it's not bad, but wait till you see what's coming. We chose this because of the nice job they did on the interiors and the excellent tasting experience. A nicely designed bathroom is usually a pretty good indicator that someone cares about design. The entry's interesting and has a nicely designed bar area. It was 11 a.m. and I don't usually drink in the morning, but I made an exception in service to you all. Anyway, that's why it's still a bit empty. They basically gave us our own tasting room right off this cool atrium space. Our tasting included some yummy snacks from this kitchen. QUINTESSA is outside of St. Helena, and as I drove in, the winery's dog greeted me. Sheepdog does not want me here, he's doing his job. Thank you, right on cue. This is a super classy place with clean, modern design. I love the reception area with the high ceiling, the tasteful art, and great interiors. The tasting room is small and intimate, and the wine's really nice, so I spent a bit of scratch here. I love how the natural light illuminates this stone. You can do group tastings here. I was lucky because they let me go up and see their private pavilion that overlooks this vineyard. I had seen the pavilion in an architecture book, and it's not usually open to visitors, so I begged. If you visit, I can't guarantee you'll get to go up there unless maybe you book the whole pavilion for a group. Anyway, the walk up was beautiful, the views are great, but it's the simple, clean lines of this building that I think are so special. It kind of feels like the roof is floating, right? Less than 10 minutes from QUINTESSA is HOWELL Wines, the biggest winery on our list. I think these guys have done a really good job of incorporating the original buildings with modern architecture. They've done a wonderful job with the grounds, mixing in all these sculptures. I'm going to come back in the summer and sit in these chairs and drink wine all afternoon. The bathroom's super cool and fits the reddish theme of this place. I like how they've integrated the tasting experience here with being able to glimpse the winery operations. You can do group tastings here, and then you have multiple options on where to do your tasting. In this inspiring bar area maybe, which I think is my favorite part of the winery. Especially this glass mobile thing. Or maybe out here on the balcony, or even the lower patio. They also have a lot of good art inside, so this was like combining two of my favorite pastimes, looking at art and drinking wine. MELKA Estates is between St. Helena and Calistoga. Here's the tasting room. This was one of the two most intimate tasting experiences I had on this trip. The manager, an extremely knowledgeable French woman, and by the way, the winery's owners are French, patiently took me through their amazing range of wines. I'm no wine expert, but this was the best wine I had on this trip. So I spent way too much money on wine here too. I was asked not to film inside, so no inside shots here, sorry. This winery has gorgeous, restrained, clean design. I love the subtle logo here on the door. And these lights are one of my favorite design moments. I really appreciated that this was one of two wineries that allowed me to look around at the operations. I, for one, love to see the winemaking process. And while all the wine storage and equipment is of course functional, it's also quite beautiful. Being such a small winery, if you're interested in this one, I'd book well in advance. The CADE estate is a bit farther out, but worth the extra few minutes to get here because these guys win the Swank Award for the most spectacular scenery. The architecture is pretty spectacular too. Right up my minimalist, concrete, steel and wood alley. I want a house like this someday. This was also a pretty intimate and wonderful tasting experience. I spent too much money on wine here too. If there's a heaven, and I'm not saying there is, there must be a special place for architects who design around trees. The manager here was also very generous and took me in to see the operations, but I thought it was kind of uncool to take video of everything, so you'll just have to come for yourself. But a small spoiler, the winery's built into the side of a mountain with some super cool subterranean spaces. Our last stop's at Silver Oak, 10 minutes outside of Healdsburg. These guys get high marks for being serious about sustainability, but that does not come at the price of good design. We had a nice lunch here along with our wine tasting. I appreciate the clean lines and the really nice finishes used on both the exterior and the interior of the buildings here. If you're thinking about a trip to this area, you might as well experience some inspiring design while you're here. Either at these wineries or at any of the 6 hotels we're recommending in Sonoma and Napa. If you want to know more about our hotel recommendations, check out our video about that. We've also done a video about what to do, when to come, and all that kind of stuff. There are links below to both videos. If you like this video, please smash that like button, and it really helps us out if you also subscribe. It's free and painless. See ya in the next video.